Hello and welcome to Let's Get Growing. It's Jo Swan here, the educational gardener at Bulwell Forest Garden, and we're at the end of, getting towards the end of March, and we're in like a bit of a mini heat wave. And as you can see, the blackthorns all flowering, and we've got frogs spawn in the pond. The tulips are out and the great hyacinths, and it feels like very spring, well, summer-like even today. But when you're watching this, it might be next week, and might be a bit cooler then. There might be some Arctic blasts, so we still don't know like what the weather's going to do. It's still not a given at this time of year. So we're going to start by looking at this week's packs. So in your packs you should have some coriander seeds. So this is like a coriander that's being grown for its leaf, so it's slow to bolt, meaning that it doesn't run to seed very quickly, and coriander doesn't like being disturbed, so it's best to either sow it direct into the ground, but if you want something a little bit more controlled, like what I'm going to do today, I'm going to sow the seeds individually. And I've got some in here. I've got a tray with holes in the bottom like a mushroom punnet, and I've got some toilet roll tubes that I've cut in half and filled with peat-free compost. And then what I'm going to do is just dib a hole about halfway down my tube in each. Compost is drying out in the sun here. To do this because it's going to be a little bit fiddly. And these seeds are from the Real Seed Company, so they're not hybrid seeds. You should be able to save your own seeds from these. So I'm just going to, they're not tiny seeds, I'm just going to get one seed and put it in, one in each tube. And the aim is that then I can transplant these and either plant them out or pot them on into a bigger pot without disturbing the roots too much. You might have enough to do 2 trays. I'm just going to cover them up with a bit of compost. And I've got a label, coriander. And then I'm going to water them with a fine rose, and I'll probably put another punnet on top to act as a little propagator. And then in your packs you should have some carrot seeds. So these carrot seeds are French variety called Touchon, I think you pronounce it as. So they're a heirloom variety from France. And so what I'm going to do with these is I'm going to try and grow some in a nice deep pot. Again, carrots don't like being transplanted, so it's better to plant them directly where you want them, so either in the ground or in a pot. They won't grow as big in a pot, but I might aim for just a pot of small salad carrots. So they don't taper much and they are blunt tipped, so they're supposed to have an excellent sweet flavour. So there's going to be, you've got a sprinkling of seeds. There's quite a lot of seeds there, although it doesn't look very many because the seeds are quite tiny. And I'm just going to scatter them quite thinly. And I'm going to cover them up with a little bit of compost, not too much. Press it down, and it's a nice deep pot this, so hopefully the roots will be able to travel down. And then I've got my label, and again the water with a fine rose so I don't wash my seeds out. Okay, and then the next thing you should have in your pack, hopefully, you will have some sunflower seeds. I don't know if they're going to be giant or dwarf because I haven't got the exact seeds. So growing these sunflowers is part of an initiative by the Nottingham Growers Network, and it's to try and show solidarity with the people of Ukraine, the sunflower being their national flower. So there should be instructions on the packet if you want more information, or you want to, we have donated already, but there is details there if you did want to make a donation to the cause. So what I'm going to do, I'll show you, these are some sunflowers I sowed a couple of weeks ago. I think these are dwarf ones as well. So these are actually ready to be transplanted. So these are what yours should look like in a couple of weeks. So I've got a tray. It's got 9 in. I filled it with my compost. I'm going to dip again about halfway down. And then I'm going to put a sunflower seed into each hole. So that's going to be 9 for me in total. You could use toilet roll tubes or little pots, whatever you've got really. So and then again cover them up, press them down, put my label in, and give them a water with a fine rose. Right, so the other thing that we need to do today, you might remember in one of your previous packs, you got 3 potatoes. So these are a salad potato called Nicola. And so hopefully you've been chitting these in a frost-free light room, but not with direct sunlight. And this is what they should look like. So you don't want the shoots to be too long and leggy, but they're nice and green. So these are kind of perfect to go. So I'm just going to plant one in a pot to show you what I'm going to show you how to do it. But I think they would need a pot each. Bearing in mind it may be cold, they don't take long to get growing, so if you are going to do yours now, you might want to, if they start to come up, you're going to need to protect them if it does get cold, if they do come up next week. So I've got some, this is like what I've been using is like a homemade compost mixed with some old potting compost, because I don't want to use loads of peat-free compost because it's expensive. And the potatoes will be fine in this. So it's about half full there, so I'll make a bit of a hole in there, and then I'm going to put the potato with the shoots facing upwards, sort of it's planted about there. And then the idea is to cover it up. But I'm just going to cover it up that far for now, and then when it starts to grow and starts to shoot up, I'll put more compost over the top as it's growing. And then I've got a label because it's Nicola, it's a salad potato, so I know what variety of potato it is. And again, I'll give that a water and I'll just watch that from the frosts. So I decided, with the success of this pot, which had the cabbage and the broad bean and the California poppy in, to make another one up with my hollyhock, broad bean and my perennial daisy. Because this one looks so nice. This will be good food for the bees as well. So this is my Nottingham catchfly, and as you can see it's a bit pot bound. I'm just going to tease the roots out. And I've got a bigger pot, and I'm going to put that into like that. So that looks better already. And then these were my wildflower seeds, bee and butterfly mix. There's not loads come up in there. Remember it was the one that was mixed with some kind of vermiculite or something, so there wasn't actually as many seeds as I thought, but it's okay. So what I'm going to do with these is I'm going to get a scoop And I'm not going to do them individually, I'm going to put a few in a pot together, try and get a mixture of different. I think that's cornflower there. So I've got a nice clump there. My compost around it. That's what I do with the rest of them. And then, so the lettuce, some of these are ready to prick out. They're getting a little bit, I think I drowned them a bit yesterday, so we've got some red lettuce in there, some bits and bobs. So these do actually want pricking out individually. I'll show you. I could do it in a toilet roll tube because I haven't brought any modules over. So what I would do is, it's a bit fiddly and it's probably better to do this out of the sun. So you want to make sure that they've got this proper set of leaves, they're true leaves in there before you start handling them. And it's a bit fiddly. Might be better with a bigger tube. What I would do these in is one of these 9 ones and just do 1 lettuce in each. That's pricking out. So we'll do that with the rest of those. And then the peas. So these were the Kelvedon Wonder peas that we did. And there's a few, I mean they look like they've not come up, some of these. Some are just starting to come up. The best thing to do is have a look at the base. See, that's got a root there. So something is growing in that one. You could just plant the ones you think are growing and then you could leave the others a bit longer. See if anything comes up, but yeah. So that one's definitely got a root, so it would be worth planting that. So what I've got here, you could put them in the ground. I'm going to do them in this nice deep pot. So I've got some like a mixture of sort of homemade compost and old potting compost in here. I've put 3 canes which I've tied together at the top and stuck in. And then I'm going to put the whole thing, tube and everything. Look at that root system. I'm probably going to get about 6 plants maybe in here. Maybe more. Fill it up. And as they grow, I will be tying them in to the canes. Okay, and then a nice water. And again, I will be watching these if it's frosty next week. What we do in the polytunnels is we've got horticultural fleece this time of year, so all the seedlings are covered up to protect them from the frost in the evening, because it does get really cold at night this time of year. So busy time of year, isn't it? A lot to do. So just finally, one thing, you might have noticed at the moment that there's lots and lots of big buzzy bumblebees everywhere, all coming out of hibernation. Bees are really important for us for pollinating our food, and they're struggling. So they need food this time of year, and there's not much of it about, so they're relying upon things things like dandelions. So if you put weed killer on your dandelions and a bee goes to feed there, then you're killing the bee as well as the dandelion. So it's also just to make you aware of, we obviously don't want loads of dandelions in our veg patches, but if you've got wild bits of your garden, it's worth leaving some weeds for the bees. And that's it. So thanks for watching. Happy gardening. Hope the sun's still shining when you're watching this. Okay, bye.